Hey, what's up, guys? Sean here with BlueRidgeSilverhound, and we have another edition of the Monday Market Report where we take a look at the most relevant graded modern coins. Generally, I like to focus on coins that are from the year 1900 and newer. What I like most about doing this type of a report is it kind of gives us a barometer check week in, week out. How are coins doing in general? Yeah, we could take a look at some of the older coins, but to a lot of newer collectors these days, the accessibility of such coins is pretty low. They're pretty tough to find. Especially if you don't have a coin shop or anything to that effect that's nearby where you're at. And then sometimes a lot of people getting into coins, they really don't begin to deep dive into the older obsolete coins for many months or years after really just truly knowing about coins as a whole. But when we take a look and focus on modern coins, it kind of helps provide some sort of insight, into what the overall market is doing at that point in time. I love gauging the normal modern market type coins that we see sell week in and week out, and generally we could kind of test the overall health of the market as a whole just based off of what moderns are doing in the market today. So we're going to take a look at great collections listings this week. A lot of them had finally just kind of closed out for the week. Generally, Sundays are the days in which great collections end their listings for the week. And then we have a whole new set of other auctions that come in for the next week. And we have a pretty nice array of coins to talk about. Although not as deep, I would say, as the last few weeks. We've seen some pretty overperforming coins in the last, I would say, 3 to 4 weeks since around Labor Day. And we've seen a little bit of a slowdown this week because we had a few kind of like major shows that were happening. The Baltimore Whitman, of course, on the wings, of course, among a few other regional shows that are out there as well. So I figure let's go ahead and check things out in the world of moderns this week. And we're going to start with pennies. And we got our first one here, a 1998 S. Lincoln Memorial Cent. This one, of course, is a proof strike edition. And take a look at the label. You guys will see close AM. So there are close AM coins for 98 and 99 for San Francisco minted proofs that were not intended to be that. So as you can see, the A and M in America are almost touching right there. So that's what you're going to find. Normally these will have a much wider gap between those two letters in America. This is your perfect graded coin, proof 70. 70 as a graded score is the top grade that you can achieve on any coin grade, period. There's no 71 or higher. So this one is indeed the top of the heap. It's also an ultra cameo, which means it has some of the strongest, beautiful frosting on all of the devices, and it's contrasted by nice black, kind of like, just a still lake of mirrored fields. And that's what you want to see. This has a great blend of cameo. It's got that variety on there, and it's just a beautiful coin. And it's perfect 70 also. This one right here sold for $1,125, and the prices have come down a little bit on these close AM Lincolns. Over the course of I'd say the last like 3 or 4 years. I remember these things were selling as high as maybe $1,500 to $2,000 for a proof 70. So if you wanted to get into one of these coins, I'd figure, it's the best time to buy one while the prices are a little bit low on them. Not a lot of people are fully aware of these. They're more aware of the business strike wide AMs from 98 to 2000, in addition to the close AM coins from 1992 as well. So another one right here, another good coin that if you had it, it's worth some money. All right, we're going all the way back to 1941, and we do have another proof. Lincoln, this time a wheat cent reverse, and a much more difficult, kind of rare coin. Just a really low mintage proof. You know, when you get into the 40s, you know, mintages are 10, 20,000, and you know, it shows in the actual values of the coins. Now, I don't talk about 41 that often because when they do come up, you know, it's the kind of money that you expect to see for this. The coin does exhibit some sort of toning. It does appear kind of like yellowish green on this particular image here from Great Collections. It does score out a proof 67 plus red through NGC, and this one sold for $5,512.50 when you get past like proof 66 for this date. For whatever that's worth, these things get pretty pricey. All right, we got a 1920s Lincoln wheat cent. Another tough date because this is what we call the Great Depression age of coinage. You know, the coins were not produced in particularly high quality. A lot of the coins were also used. During this particular decade of coinage, a lot of coins were never really saved in high grades. So finding some by today's standards is quite tough, especially in raw condition. And oftentimes the raw coins that you do see out at coin shops or shows generally will have some sort of issues with them, whether they're cleaned, lightly cleaned, artificial toning, carbon spotting. These are all some of the things that I see with raw coins, and generally they're not worth buying because the people that do offer these up for sale are asking way too much money for them. But this one right here, if you wanted to get in on some early Roaring 20s material, make sure you get one that's graded. In this particular case, this is a PCGS Mid-State 64 red. It's also CAC certed as well. And this is also a Sunset Collection piece. They're at week number 161. Of this just enormous collection, and this one sold for $2,206.12. We're going to throw in a consummate key date in the Lincoln Cent series, 1914D. I mean, this is the big one right here. This one is a Mid-State 64 red-brown. I would say that this coin, above all else, is a great investment piece. It's also one that if you're looking for this particular date for your Lincoln set collection, maybe not necessarily a registry set, but if you just want an overall gauntlet in U.S. coinage, this is a great coin right here. And then oftentimes you'll see this coin enhance in value over the course of many years. You know, I don't really see most key dates from the Lincoln Cent series drop in value over time. It's only when you get into the ultra modern age, something like maybe 1960 and newer, top pop graded coins have been kind of dropping a little bit, and that's only a result of the amount of newer coins coming out at those higher grades. But if you're looking for a surefire bet, these early keys are definitely the way to go. This is 64 red brown, and it's sold for $5,400. Sure, you could get a much higher quality specimen, but expect to pay a ton more money for them. And then the final early copper that we're going to talk about, or the final 1 cent piece denomination coin, is going to be a 1905 Indian head cent. Millions were produced, millions were made, as you guys saw in the title of this video and in the thumbnail. But there are a number of coins where millions upon millions, hundreds of millions of coins were produced, yet they still seem to sell for a lot of money. All right, and you know, these are traditionally coins that were really never saved in high grades. You know, kind of similar to the 1920s coinage. So this one right here is a Mid-State 66 plus full red, and it looks the part. It's also CAC certified, and some lucky collector ended up paying $7,918.88. And it's also worth mentioning that this is another Sunset Collection piece consigned to Great Collections. All right, on to nickels, and of course our theme of high mintage coins that are just incredibly common and nobody really paid any attention to them. How about a 1972 Jefferson nickel? Okay, not what you would expect to find on a Monday market report. But, you know, this is going to be probably registry set coin. Never would you ever invest in something like this if you're getting into coin investing or putting together a portfolio. Stay away from coins like this. These are made and tailored specifically to a group of people that are just looking to buy these to fulfill a set need, a virtual set need rather, on PCGS and NGC's website. This one right here is a mid-state 67. It's a full stepper. 72, I would say not particularly hard to find full steps or close to it type of strikes. It's when you get, you know, like 1970 and earlier where it becomes increasingly difficult. And you'll see that here momentarily. This one right here, ladies and gentlemen, sold for $2,925.06. Again, proving once again that some high mintage coins in the right type of grade will fetch an incredibly amazing amount of money. But who would have thought getting almost $3,000 for a 72 nickel was ever in the plans? All right, I know it wasn't for me, but you know, yeah, now you know. So here's a few of those tougher dates, and they're all in the 50s for the most part. I got a couple of them here to show you. We have a 54D. This one is an NGC graded Min-State 66 5FS, so it does qualify as a full steps nickel. Yeah, these early 50s nickels were plagued by a few different issues. Luster was generally pretty bad on a lot of these. You know, the 55 was the culprit out of the 50s era of nickels. A lot of the coins came up with weak strikes. That was another one, especially on San Francisco minted examples. And another thing, a lot of these were plagued with a bunch of little planchet nicks all over the place. I mean, look at the jawline here of Jefferson. It's not the prettiest thing that you'll ever see in numismatics for sure, but nickel collectors and registry set people are incredibly dedicated. And, you know, because of certain little pockets of incredibly difficult dates to find with full steps, that's really what's keeping a lot of these registry set collectors up at night. And when one does come across, there's going to be a number of people that's going to be battling for it. So what did this one here sell for? $1,589.62. And then we also have a 53S. This time it's an NGC Min-State 65 with a 5FS. So the grade is kind of middle of the road. It's nothing that's going to, you know, light up everybody's world in the registry set arena. But this one right here, as you can tell, has a lot of hallmarks of very, very weak strikes that were commonplace during its day. This one right here ended up selling for $3,940.77. Quite a bit more than the previous coin, the 54D, but the 54D did look a lot better than this one. So yeah, that's the kind of the game you play when you hit the registry set nickel group, I guess. You end up paying sometimes very irrational amounts of money for otherwise less than stellar looking coins. But that was more of a product of the era in which the mints were producing these, and you know, they just really didn't care a whole lot about the quality at the time. And then we do have a 52 here. This one is also a Min-State 66 full steps rather. This one's PCGS graded, so they don't denote 5 or 6 full steps, just full steps. They do grade anything with 5 full steps and more. So 5 and 6 full steps will get FS designation by this grading company. And this one ended up selling for $2,307.45. And let's see, 47S. Again, when you get into the 40s, the strikes are definitely a lot better, but the late 40s, sometimes you'll come across one like this where you have definite weakness in the strike that eventually pours over into the 50s. Not nearly as challenging to collect full steps, 1940s nickels as it is 50s or 60s. But this one right here, I mean, you know, who could argue with a Mint State 67 FS? That is an incredible grade for this coin. In addition, it does have some pretty nice toning that I'm willing to bet would look really good in hand. This one sold for $2,190.38. And the last nickel of the group, we got to throw in a good old Buffalo in there. How about one of the toughest dates to find in the series? The likelihood that you'll ever find one of these out in the wild, like say at a coin shop or a show, is, I'm not going to say it's impossible, but you know, the dealers do know about the importance of a mint state branch mint coin from the 20s, most specifically Buffalo nickels, because it's just one of the richest series out there for someone to collect. This one right here is a Mint State 65, a very, very important grade for this particular date, CAC certified, and this one sold for $14,911.88. So yeah, there's the stakes, high grade stakes with these mid-20s Buffaloes. Now, this is one of my favorite varieties. I own a few of these myself, just because of the overall blatant strength of what we have going on here. This is a 1942 over 1. It's the Philadelphia variety of the Overdate. They do have a 42 over 1 Denver as well. That's not nearly as spectacular, but there you go. You have 19412. So you have like a very noticeable number 1 in between the 4 and 2 in the date, and that is a major boo-boo. But they didn't plan on taking the coins out and destroying them. They just let them circulate, and a lot of them are circulated. But however, this one is a pretty nice PCGS Mint State 64. Just a stunner, such a beautiful coin, CAC certified, and this one sold for $10,531.12. And I believe this is the last time of the week, but we got to throw in a little bit of toning action here. This is a 36S. A little bit of a tougher date when it comes to a full strike. So this one right here is a Mint State 65 full split bands. And, you know, I think most importantly, this one has just unbelievable color on both sides of the coin. It's not incredibly offensive or dark where it's going to turn you away, but I would say just an overall coloration mix of greens and mossy greens and russet browns, and on the obverse you have some golds, yellows, and rose colored patterns on there. I mean, this is exactly what you want to see out of a collectible, well collected series. This one, by the way, is in an older NGC slab holder, and this one sold for $2,418.75. We do have a couple quarters on the list, starting out with an uber common, high minted 1953D Washington quarter. This one's nice because it does feature some toning on there. I mean, at this particular juncture, it's a love it or hate it type of pattern. It's a little bit too splotchy for my tastes, but I'm willing to bet in hand it probably looks a lot better. But this is going to be a registry set coin all the way. PCGS Mint State 67 Plus is an incredible grade and will be bound to add a lot more points to the scale when it's all said and done. It's also CAC certified as well. This coin ended up selling for $3,037.50. But this is more my jam right here. This is a 1949 Washington quarter. The toning is what really wins this one over. I mean, you know, not a knock against a grade. I believe 68 might be the top grade for a 49, but this is a 67 plus CAC certified. The toning is really what makes this coin at the end of the day. If you are a collector and you want a premier example, why not go for one that has color on it? The color really gives it its age, it gives it its originality. It's never been dipped or played around with or doctored of any sort. So that's why, you know, the toning is more like a fingerprint. All right, it validates the originality of the coin, from whence it was, found in change or out of a roll. So this one right here sold for $1,741.50. And we do have one more coin on the list, and that's going to be a Franklin half dollar. Very seldom do we talk about Franklin half dollars at all, or half dollars period. But this one right here is definitely worth a mention. Okay, one thing that I will say, it's not a full bell lines coin, which to a lot of Franklin half dollar lovers, that's an important attribute. That strong, heavy strike on the reverse where you could see all of the bell lines on the Liberty Bell is important. However, this one right here is a PCGS Mint State 67 Plus. No FBL. It is CAC certified. This is such a huge coin for not only a personal collection, but also a registry set. So it does serve a couple purposes. 51 is just a tough date to find with a nice strike on it. So finding one with FBL might end up costing you a lot more than what this one sold for, which was $2,982.38. Which, if you're spending $3,000 on a coin, keep in mind that if this had FBL at this grade level, this will be a 5-figure coin all day long. All right, and that's the kind of money that a dedicated collector group like Franklin half dollar collectors throw at it. There are certain coin series where if you're able to get a top end, top flight coin of that series out into the open market, might be a good time for you to sell. Because, we are at a time of the year when collectors are on board and they're back to adding coins to their inventory. They're looking to enhance their registry sets, or they're just adding in type pieces, to their portfolio of coins. And this would be a great one to add in there. But, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to go ahead and do it for this Monday Market Report, whether you're watching this on a Sunday night after a football game or on a Monday morning while you're making your commute to work. I want to thank you guys for joining in on this one. Hopefully you guys have a wonderful start to your day. Kind of take it easy as the weather is getting colder and the roads are getting wetter. So that'll do it. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit that bell for instant notifications if you enjoy today's content. Hit the dislike button if you don't. But my Coinaholics, that's going to go ahead and do it for this one. Again, I'm your host, Sean, with Blue Ridge. You guys take care, and I will see you on the next coin video. So long.